Success is neither magical nor mysterious. Success is the natural consequence of consistently applying the basic fundamentals. Most people spend their entire lives searching for shortcuts, chasing overnight success, or waiting for the perfect moment. But the harsh truth is, those who win, those who rise above the rest, aren't waiting. They aren't hoping. They aren't looking for an easy way out. They are doing what needs to be done every single day. If you want to transform your life, if you want to create real success, then you must master the fundamentals, not once, not for a week, but every single day, until they become a part of who you are. Because without them, no strategy, no opportunity, no amount of luck will ever be enough to take you where you want to go. Look around. Success is predictable. It follows a pattern. The ones who achieve it aren't always the smartest or the most talented, but they are the ones who apply the right principles with relentless consistency. They know that energy and focus are more valuable than money. They understand that action is the only way to kill fear. They refuse to seek approval and instead focus on results. They invest in themselves because they know that no external factor can replace personal growth. And most importantly, they never allow regret to be the final chapter of their story. By the time you finish watching this video, you will understand why some people seem to move forward effortlessly, while others stay trapped in the same cycles for years. You will see the real difference between those who win and those who make excuses. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. This is not just another motivational speech. This is a roadmap, a blueprint, a reality check. Because success is not something you wait for. It's something you create day by day, choice by choice, action by action. Stay with me, because this might just be the most important lesson you ever learn. Number 1, success has no secret. It's just hard work repeated daily. Success isn't a mystery. It's not a puzzle waiting to be solved. It's not something only a few lucky people get to experience, while the rest are left struggling. The truth is, success follows a simple formula: hard work repeated every single day. That's it. No secret, no magic, no overnight transformation. Just daily effort, discipline, and consistency. And yet most people spend their entire lives searching for an easier way. They jump from one idea to the next, hoping to find a shortcut, some hidden trick that will get them there without putting in the work. But let me tell you something. There is no shortcut. The only way to succeed is to show up, do the work, and keep going. People love to admire those who have made it. They look at the athletes, the millionaires, the entrepreneurs, the leaders, and they wonder how they got there. They think, they must know something I don't. They must have some secret advantage. But what they don't see is the years of effort, the sacrifices, the relentless commitment to improvement. They don't see the mornings when they woke up before the sun. They don't see the nights when they worked long after everyone else had gone home. They don't see the thousands of hours spent practicing, studying, refining their craft. And that's why so many people fail, because they want the result without the process. They want the reward without the effort. The biggest mistake people make is believing that success is about talent, luck, or the perfect opportunity. But it's not. Success is about consistency. It's about showing up and putting in the work, even when you don't feel like it. Especially when you don't feel like it. Anyone can work hard for a day. Anyone can push themselves for a week. But can you do it for a month, a year, a decade? That's the difference between those who succeed and those who don't. The ones who make it are the ones who stay committed, long after the excitement has worn off. They push through boredom, frustration, and doubt. They don't wait to feel motivated. They just do the work, no matter what. And here's the truth. Most people won't do it. They won't stay consistent. They'll start something new, get excited for a little while, and then quit the moment it gets hard. They'll tell themselves it wasn't meant to be, that it's not the right time, that they'll try again later, but later never comes. And that's why so many people live their lives feeling stuck, frustrated, and full of regret. Because deep down they know they didn't put in the effort. They didn't stay disciplined. They didn't push themselves when it mattered most. Now maybe you've been in that position before. Maybe you've started and stopped 100 times. Maybe you've told yourself you're going to change, only to fall back into old habits. But here's the good news. Your past doesn't matter. What matters is what you do today, right now. Because the moment you decide to commit, really commit, everything changes. When you stop looking for shortcuts, when you stop making excuses, when you decide that no matter what, you're going to do the work. That's when success becomes inevitable. Not because of luck, not because of talent, but because of consistency. And let's be clear, hard work isn't easy. It's not supposed to be. There will be days when you're tired, when you're frustrated, when you don't see any progress, and wonder if it's even worth it. But that's exactly why most people don't succeed, because they stop when it gets tough. But if you can push through those moments, if you can keep going even when every part of you wants to quit, that's when you separate yourself from the rest. Because success isn't about what you do once in a while. It's about what you do every single day. Think about it like this. If you work out once, will you be in great shape? No. If you save money once, will you be financially free? No. If you work on your skills once, will you be successful? Of course not. It's the repetition that matters. It's doing it over and over again, until it becomes a habit, until it becomes part of who you are. The results don't show up right away. They take time. But that's where most people give up. They put in the work for a little while, they don't see instant success, and they quit. But those who keep going, they're the ones who win. The world rewards those who are willing to do what others won't. The ones who wake up early, stay late, put in the extra effort. The ones who don't make excuses. The ones who understand that success isn't about luck. It's about showing up and putting in the work, day after day. And the best part, anyone can do it. You don't need special skills. You don't need connections. You don't need luck. You just need the willingness to work harder and longer than everyone else. But here's the catch. Most people won't do it. They'll hear this message. They'll nod their heads. They'll agree. But when it comes time to put in the effort, they'll find a reason not to. I'm too tired. I'm too busy. I'll start tomorrow. And that's why so many people stay stuck. Because they never commit fully. So ask yourself this. Are you really willing to do what it takes? Are you willing to work when no one is watching? Are you willing to stay disciplined, even when you don't feel like it? Are you willing to keep going, even when it's hard, even when it's boring, even when it seems like nothing is happening? Because if you are, then success is just a matter of time, not a question of if, but when. The people who succeed in life aren't necessarily the smartest or the most talented. They're the ones who refuse to quit, the ones who put in the work every single day, the ones who understand that success isn't about what you do occasionally. It's about what you do consistently. So stop looking for secrets. Stop waiting for motivation. Stop making excuses. Just put in the work, every day, no matter what. Because that's the real secret. There is no secret, just hard work, repeated daily. Number 2, energy and focus are more valuable than money. Most people believe that if they just had more money, their problems would be solved. They think money is the answer to all their struggles, that once they have enough, life will finally be the way they want it to be. But let me tell you something. Money is not the most valuable asset you have. It never was, and it never will be. The real currency of success is energy and focus. Without these two things, money won't help you. Without these two things, you can't build anything meaningful. Without these two things, you can't have all the money in the world and still feel lost, exhausted, and unfulfilled. Energy is everything. It determines how much you can get done in a day. It decides whether you wake up excited and ready to work, or whether you drag yourself through the day, barely making any progress. Look at the most successful people in the world. Do they move slowly? Do they always seem tired and drained? No, they have energy. They attack the day with enthusiasm. They bring intensity to everything they do, because they know that success isn't just about what you do, it's about how you do it. And if you don't have the energy to give your best effort, then it doesn't matter how many hours you work. But energy alone is not enough. You also need focus. You need to be able to direct your attention toward what actually matters. So many people waste their time jumping from one thing to another, constantly distracted, constantly overwhelmed. They start one project, then get bored and move to something else. They scroll through their phones, watch pointless videos, waste hours on things that add no real value to their lives. And then they wonder why they're not getting ahead. It's because they don't have focus. They're scattered. They're busy, but they're not productive. They're working, but they're not making progress. Money can't fix that. In fact, money can actually make it worse. If you don't have control over your energy and focus, more money will only give you more ways to waste time, more distractions, more temptations. That's why so many people who suddenly come into wealth whether it's through an inheritance, a lottery win, or even a high-paying job, end up struggling because they never learned how to manage their energy. They never learned how to focus, and without those two things, they lose control. Think about this. There are people out there who have all the money they could ever need, and yet they feel exhausted and overwhelmed every single day. And then there are people who don't have much, but they wake up every morning feeling alive, ready to take on whatever challenges come their way. What's the difference? It's not the money, it's the energy they bring. It's the ability to focus on what matters. It's the discipline to avoid distractions, to stay locked in on their goals, to push forward, no matter what. If you don't have energy, you can't work hard. And if you don't have focus, you'll work hard on the wrong things. That's why these two are the foundation of success. When you have them, everything else becomes easier. You don't waste time second-guessing yourself. You don't lose hours scrolling through meaningless content. You don't spend your days in a mental fog, unsure of what you're even doing. You wake up with a plan. You attack the day with purpose. You move with clarity. And when you do that, success is inevitable. But here's the problem. Most people don't take care of their energy. They don't protect their focus. They live their lives in a constant state of exhaustion, running on fumes, distracted by everything around them. They stay up late, scrolling through social media, watching pointless shows, eating junk food, skipping exercise. And then they wonder why they feel so drained all the time. They fill their minds with negativity, news, gossip, drama, and then they wonder why they can't focus on the things that actually matter. It's because they're not protecting their most valuable resources. If you want to be successful, you need to start treating your energy and focus like they are the most valuable things in your life. Because they are. More valuable than money, more valuable than talent, more valuable than luck. And the good news? You can control them. You can build them. You can improve them. You can train yourself to have more energy. You can train yourself to focus better. It just takes discipline. It just takes commitment. It just takes making the right choices, day after day. Start by protecting your mornings. How you begin your day determines everything. If you wake up and immediately start checking your phone, filling your mind with distractions, you've already lost. But if you wake up and take control, if you move your body, feed your mind with something positive, set your intentions for the day, you put yourself in a position to win. Energy isn't something you just wake up with. It's something you build. And the way you start your day is the foundation. Then eliminate distractions. Cut out anything that drains you without adding value. If you're spending hours watching things that don't serve you, stop. If you're constantly surrounding yourself with negativity, change your environment. If you're always jumping from one thing to another, unable to focus on what actually matters, start training your mind. Work in deep, focused sessions. Remove unnecessary notifications. Give yourself blocks of time where you're fully locked in, because every time you let yourself get distracted, you're weakening your ability to focus, and success requires focus. And finally, move your body. Your physical health and your mental energy are directly connected. If you're constantly tired, constantly sluggish, constantly feeling like you have no motivation, look at how you're treating your body. Are you getting enough sleep? Are you eating foods that fuel you, or foods that slow you down? Are you moving, exercising, staying active, or are you sitting around all day, expecting to feel energized, when you're doing nothing to create that energy? This is what separates the successful from the unsuccessful. The ones who make it are the ones who prioritize their energy and focus above everything else. They know that without these two things, nothing else matters. Because it doesn't matter how much money you have. If you're too tired to enjoy it, it doesn't matter how many opportunities you get. If you don't have the focus to take advantage of them, it doesn't matter how many hours you work, if those hours are wasted on things that don't move you forward. So ask yourself, how are you treating your energy? How are you protecting your focus? Are you setting yourself up for success? Or are you sabotaging yourself without even realizing it? Because at the end of the day, success isn't about how much money you have. It's about how much energy you bring. It's about how well you can focus. And those two things, they're in your control every single day. Number 3, your life won't change until you change how you think. Most people spend their lives waiting for something to change. They wake up every day hoping things will get better, hoping their problems will disappear, hoping success will finally find them. But life doesn't work that way. It never has, and it never will. If you're waiting for change to come from the outside, you'll be waiting forever. Because real change, lasting change, doesn't start with your circumstances. It starts with your mind. Your life won't change until you change how you think. Everything you experience, everything you do, everything you attract, it all starts in your mind. The way you think shapes the way you act, and the way you act shapes the results you get. That's why two people can grow up in the same situation, face the same struggles, and yet end up with completely different lives. It's not about luck. It's not about talent. It's about mindset. One person sees obstacles, the other sees opportunities. One person complains, the other takes action. One person blames their past, the other builds their future. That's the difference between success and failure. It's not about what happens to you. It's about how you think about what happens to you. If you believe life is unfair, that the odds are stacked against you, that success is only for the lucky or the privileged, then that's exactly what you'll experience. Your mind will find reasons to confirm those beliefs. You'll see struggle as proof that you're not meant to win. You'll see other people's success as a reminder of what you don't have. And worst of all, you'll give up before you even try. But if you shift your mindset, if you start seeing challenges as opportunities, if you start believing that you have the power to change your own life, then everything starts to change. Because the moment you believe something is possible, your mind starts working to make it happen. Most people don't fail because they're not capable. They fail because they never even try. They've already lost in their minds before they've taken the first step. They've convinced themselves it's too hard, too risky, too unrealistic. So they stay where they are, stuck in the same cycle, watching other people succeed while they tell themselves, it's just not meant for me. But the truth is, the only thing stopping them is their own thinking. And that's the hardest part for most people to accept. Because if they admit that their mindset is the problem, then they also have to admit that they've been the ones holding themselves back. But here's the good news. If your thinking has been the problem, then your thinking can also be the solution. You have the power to change it. You have the power to rewire your mind, to replace self-doubt with self-belief, to replace excuses with action, to replace fear with confidence. And when you do that, everything around you starts to shift. You see opportunities you never noticed before. You take risks you used to avoid. You stop hesitating, stop overthinking, stop waiting for permission. You become the kind of person who makes things happen, instead of waiting for things to happen. Look at the most successful people in the world. They weren't born different from you. They didn't have some magical advantage that made success easy. The difference was in how they thought. When they failed, they didn't see it as a sign to quit. They saw it as feedback, as a lesson, as proof that they were trying. When they faced problems, they didn't waste time complaining. They focused on solutions. When other people doubted them, they didn't let it stop them. They kept going, because they knew that their success wasn't up to anyone else. It was up to them. And that's the mindset that changes lives. So ask yourself, how do you think about your own life? Are you focused on what's possible, or are you constantly thinking about what's wrong? Are you looking for reasons why you can succeed, or are you looking for reasons why you can't? Because whatever you focus on, you'll find. If you look for excuses, you'll find them. If you look for problems, they'll appear everywhere. But if you look for solutions, if you look for ways to grow, if you look for reasons to keep going, you'll find those too. Your mind is the most powerful tool you have. It can build you up or break you down. It can push you forward or hold you back. And the best part, you get to choose. Every single day, you have the choice to think differently, to see things differently, to believe in yourself, even when no one else does. And the moment you make that choice, really make it, not just for a day, not just for a week, but as a way of life, everything starts to change. Because once your mind is set on success, nothing can stop you. Not fear, not failure, not doubt, nothing. But here's the catch. Changing the way you think isn't easy. It takes work. It takes effort. It takes discipline. You have to train your mind the same way you train a muscle. You have to catch yourself when you start thinking negatively, when you start making excuses, when you start slipping back into old patterns. You have to replace every limiting belief with a new empowering one. And you have to do it over and over again, every single day, until it becomes second nature. That's the real secret of success. It's not about waiting for the right time. It's not about waiting for luck. It's about taking control of your own mind, deciding what you believe, and then living in alignment with those beliefs. And when you do that, when you truly take control of your thinking, your entire life transforms. You stop waiting. You start doing. You stop doubting. You start believing. You stop making excuses. You start making progress. And that's when everything changes. Not because the world around you changed, not because luck suddenly appeared, but because you changed. And once that happens, there's no limit to what you can do. Number 4, your future is created by what you do today, not someday. Most people have big dreams. They talk about the life they want, the success they crave, the freedom they imagine for themselves. But if you ask them what they're doing today to make it happen, they'll tell you, I'll start soon. I just need the right moment. Maybe next year. And that's why most people never get anywhere. They live in the illusion of someday. But the truth is, your future is not built on dreams. It's not built on wishes. It's built on what you do today, right now, in this moment. The life you want is not waiting for you in the distant future. It's being shaped by every decision you make, every action you take, every single day, every morning you wake up. You're either moving closer to your dreams or further away from them. There is no standing still. You're either building momentum or you're letting time slip through your fingers. And if you keep waiting for the perfect moment, the perfect conditions, the perfect opportunity, you'll wake up years from now wondering why nothing changed. Because nothing changes until you do something about it, until you stop waiting and start working. People love to say, I'll start when I feel ready. But that's the biggest lie you can tell yourself. Readiness is a myth. You will never feel fully prepared, fully confident, fully certain that everything will work out. And that's why most people never take action, because they're waiting for a feeling that will never come. The people who succeed in life are not the ones who wait to feel ready. They're the ones who act despite the fear, despite the uncertainty, despite not knowing if it will work. They understand that progress isn't about waiting for the right time. It's about making the time right by taking action. You don't become successful by thinking about success. You don't get fit by planning to go to the gym. You don't build a business by dreaming about it. The results you want are directly tied to what you do, not what you say you'll do, not what you hope will happen, but what you actually do, day in and day out. The hard truth is, success is just a series of small actions repeated consistently over time. It's the daily habits, the daily choices, the daily disciplines that separate those who win from those who just wish. And here's where most people get stuck. They look at the big picture, the huge goal, the massive vision, and they get overwhelmed. They think, I don't even know where to start, so they don't start at all. They freeze. They procrastinate. They tell themselves they'll do it later, when they have more time, more energy, more clarity. But the only way to get unstuck is to take action now. No matter how small, even if it's one step, one decision, one task, it doesn't matter. What matters is that you're moving, because movement creates momentum, and momentum creates results. Think about the people who are truly successful, the ones who have built something incredible. They didn't do it in one day. They didn't wake up with all the answers. They started exactly where you are, unsure, unprepared, maybe even scared, but they did something about it. They took the first step, and then the next, and then another. And before they knew it, they had built a foundation. They had learned from experience. They had grown into the kind of person who could handle success. And that's the biggest secret. It's not about finding the perfect strategy. It's not about knowing everything before you begin. It's about starting and figuring it out as you go. Because every successful person was once a beginner. Every expert was once clueless. Every champion was once struggling. The only difference between them and the ones who never make it is that they started before they felt ready. So the question is, what are you doing today to create the future you want? Are you taking action? Or are you making excuses? Are you moving forward? Or are you waiting for life to hand you something? Because let me tell you something. Life doesn't hand you anything. You don't get the life you want by hoping for it. You get it by working for it. And I know what some people will say, but I don't have time. I don't have the resources. I don't have the connections. And that's just another excuse. Because if you really wanted it, you would find a way. If it mattered to you, you would make the time. If it was important enough, you wouldn't be looking for reasons why you can't. You'd be looking for ways that you can. Every successful person had obstacles. Every successful person had moments of doubt, but they didn't let those things stop them. They found a way to work with what they had. They used their time wisely. They focused on what they could do instead of what they couldn't. And because of that, they built something incredible, while the people who kept making excuses stayed exactly where they were. So stop telling yourself that someday you'll start. Stop lying to yourself about needing the perfect moment. The only moment you have is right now. The only thing that matters is what you do today, not tomorrow, not next year, not someday, today. And the best part, the moment you start, everything changes. Because once you prove to yourself that you're capable, once you start seeing progress, once you realize that you are in control of your own future, there is no stopping you. You become the kind of person who takes action instead of waiting. The kind of person who creates opportunities instead of waiting for them. The kind of person who doesn't just dream about success, but actually makes it happen. That's the power of what you do today. Because today is all you ever really have. The question is, what are you going to do with it? Number 5. Never quit. Success belongs to those who persist. Most people give up too soon. They start with excitement, fueled by a big dream, ready to take on the world. But the moment they hit a roadblock, the moment things don't go as planned, they start to second-guess themselves. They start looking for an easier way, a shortcut, a quick fix, and when they don't find it, they quit. They tell themselves it wasn't meant to be. They convince themselves it was too hard, too risky, too much. And just like that, they walk away from the very thing that could have changed their life. But let me tell you something. Success doesn't belong to the smartest person. It doesn't belong to the most talented, the most connected, or the most gifted. It belongs to the one who refuses to quit. The one who keeps going, even when everything inside them is screaming to stop. The one who gets knocked down and stands right back up. That's the person who wins. That's the person who makes it. Not because they had it easy, but because they refused to give up when things got hard. Every successful person you admire, every millionaire, every entrepreneur, every athlete, every leader, none of them got there because the path was smooth. None of them got there because it was handed to them. They got there because they kept showing up, day after day, when it was painful, when it was exhausting, when it felt like nothing was working. They persisted when others walked away. And that's why they made it. Most people don't fail because they're incapable. They fail because they stop too soon. They hit an obstacle and think, maybe this isn't for me. But what if they had pushed just a little further? What if they had kept going for just a little longer? What if the breakthrough they were waiting for was right around the corner? The sad truth is, most people never find out because they quit before they ever see it. You see, success is not about how fast you get there. It's not about having it all figured out from the start. It's about staying in the game long enough to see the results of your effort. It's about being willing to struggle through the tough times, to endure the setbacks, to learn from the failures, because every single challenge is shaping you into the kind of person who can handle success. The people who win are not the ones who never failed. They are the ones who failed and still kept going. They learned from every mistake, adjusted their approach, and kept moving forward. They refused to let failure define them. Instead, they used it to grow stronger, smarter, better. That's the difference between those who succeed and those who don't. It's not talent. It's not luck. It's the willingness to keep going when others give up. And I know what some people are thinking, but I've tried so many times, and nothing has worked. And my question is, how many times are you willing to try? Because if you look at history, if you look at every great success story, you'll find one thing in common. They failed more times than most people are willing to try. Thomas Edison, the man who gave us the light bulb, failed over 1,000 times before he got it right. Imagine if he had quit at 999. Imagine if he had said, maybe this just isn't for me. The world would be a very different place. But he didn't quit. He kept going. And because of that, he changed the world. Colonel Sanders, the founder of KFC, was rejected over 1,000 times before someone believed in his recipe. Most people would have stopped after the first 10, the first 100, maybe even the first 500. But not him. He understood that every rejection was just part of the process. He knew that the only way to fail was to stop trying. And because he kept going, his name is now known all over the world. J.K. Rowling, the author of Harry Potter, was rejected by 12 publishers before someone finally gave her a chance. 12 times she was told no. 12 times she was told she wasn't good enough. But she didn't let that stop her. She believed in her work, and she kept going. And today her books have sold over 500 million copies. The list goes on and on. The most successful people in the world are not the ones who had it easy. They are the ones who were willing to endure rejection, failure, setbacks, and disappointment. Because they knew that quitting was the only way to guarantee failure. And that's the key. The only way you truly fail is if you stop trying. As long as you keep going, as long as you keep pushing forward, you are still in the game. You still have a chance. It doesn't matter how slow you go. As long as you don't stop, it doesn't matter how many times you fall. As long as you keep getting back up. So if you're struggling right now, if you feel like giving up, if you feel like nothing is working, remember this: your success is being tested. The universe is asking you, how bad do you want it? And if you can push through this moment, if you can keep going despite the frustration, despite the doubt, despite the pain, you will come out stronger on the other side. Every obstacle you face is an opportunity to prove how much you want it. Every failure is a lesson that makes you better. Every setback is just a setup for a comeback. But only if you keep going, only if you refuse to quit, only if you understand that success is not about getting it right the first time, or the 10th time, or even the 100th time. It's about staying in the game long enough to figure it out. So don't stop. Don't let frustration steal your future. Don't let temporary setbacks turn into permanent failure. You are capable of more than you realize. You are stronger than you think. And if you keep going, if you refuse to quit, if you make the decision right now that nothing will stop you, you will succeed. Not because it was easy, but because you refused to give up. And one day when you look back on your journey, when you see how far you've come, when you realize how close you were to quitting, but didn't, you will understand that every struggle was worth it. Every late night, every early morning, every failure, every lesson, every challenge, it was all shaping you into the person who was ready to win. So keep going, keep pushing, keep fighting for your dreams. Because success doesn't belong to the lucky, it doesn't belong to the talented, it belongs to the ones who refuse to quit. Number 6. Action kills fear. Thinking too much creates it. Fear is like a shadow. It only grows when you stand still. The longer you hesitate, the bigger it becomes. The more you think about it, the more powerful it gets. And before you know it, you've convinced yourself that you can't do it, that you're not ready, that you need more time, more preparation, more reassurance. But here's the truth. Fear doesn't go away by thinking. It goes away by doing. Action kills fear. Most people don't realize that fear is not the enemy. The real enemy is inaction. It's the overthinking, the hesitation, the endless what-ifs that keep you stuck in the same place. Because when you don't move, when you don't take action, fear doesn't just sit there. It grows. It becomes stronger. It becomes louder. It starts feeding you lies, telling you that you're not good enough, that you're going to fail, that you'll embarrass yourself, that you should just stay where it's safe. And that's exactly how people get trapped. Not because they weren't capable, not because they didn't have the potential, but because they let fear talk them out of taking the first step. They let fear convince them that waiting is the answer, that if they just think a little longer, plan a little more, prepare a little better, the fear will magically disappear. But that never happens. Thinking doesn't remove fear, only action does. Look at any time in your life when you were scared to do something. Maybe it was speaking in front of a crowd. Maybe it was starting a new job. Maybe it was talking to someone you admired. Whatever it was, I guarantee you this: the fear was at its worst before you started. The moment you took action, the moment you stepped up and did it, the fear started fading. Because fear can't survive in motion. The second you take action, it weakens. It loses its grip on you. But most people never get to that point. They stay trapped in their own minds, building up scenarios that will never happen. They spend so much time worrying about failure that they never give themselves a chance to succeed. They let the fear of the unknown keep them from ever finding out what they're truly capable of. And that's the real tragedy. Because every person who has ever achieved something great, every person who has ever conquered their fears, didn't do it by waiting until they felt ready. They did it by acting before they were ready. They took the first step, even when they were scared. They moved forward even when their hands were shaking, even when their heart was racing, even when their mind was screaming at them to stop. And that's why they made it. The difference between successful people and those who stay stuck isn't talent. It isn't intelligence. It isn't luck. It's action. The ones who succeed are the ones who take action despite their fear. They don't let fear control them. They don't let overthinking paralyze them. They feel the fear and move anyway. Because here's something most people don't understand. Confidence doesn't come before action. It comes after. People think, once I feel confident, I'll do it. But that's not how it works. You don't wait for confidence to take action. You take action to build confidence. The more you do, the more you realize that fear was lying to you. The more you prove to yourself that you are capable, that you are stronger than you thought, that you can handle more than you believed. But none of that happens if you don't take the first step. That's where most people fail. They get stuck in their own minds, waiting for the fear to go away. But it won't. You have to move first. You have to take that first uncomfortable step. And once you do, you'll realize something incredible. Fear wasn't as powerful as you thought. The thing you were so scared of, it wasn't as bad as you imagined. Fear is always bigger in your mind than it is in reality. It thrives on hesitation. It feeds on doubt, but it can't survive action. The moment you start moving, fear starts shrinking. It starts losing its grip on you. And the more action you take, the less fear you'll feel. Think about a time when you finally did something you were scared of. Maybe it was making a tough phone call. Maybe it was stepping on stage. Maybe it was asking for an opportunity. Whatever it was, you built it up in your mind as something terrifying. But then you did it. And when it was over, you realized it wasn't nearly as bad as you thought. You wondered why you spent so much time worrying about it. That's the power of action. It shows you the truth. It reveals that fear was just a trick. Your mind was playing on you. And once you realize that, once you experience it for yourself, you become unstoppable. Because you know that fear only controls those who stand still. But the moment you move, the moment you act, it loses its power. So if you're scared right now, if you're hesitating, if you're waiting for the fear to go away before you stop. You don't need to feel ready. You don't need to have it all figured out. You just need to take one step, just one, and then another, and another. And before you know it, you'll look back and wonder why you were ever scared in the first place. The people who win in life are not the ones who never feel fear. They are the ones who don't let fear stop them. They take action anyway. They move forward despite the doubt. They understand that fear is not a reason to stop. It's a signal to start. So whatever you've been putting off, whatever you've been hesitating on, whatever you've been overthinking, stop waiting, stop thinking, start doing. Take the first step, no matter how small, because fear can only survive in your mind. The moment you take action, it dies. And when fear dies, freedom begins. Number 7. Stop seeking approval. Focus on results. There comes a moment in life when you have to make a decision. Are you going to live for the approval of others, or are you going to focus on what actually matters? Because the truth is, the more you seek approval, the less you achieve. The more you worry about what people think, the less progress you make. And at some point, you have to wake up and realize that no one's opinion is going to pay your bills. No one's approval is going to build your dreams. And no one's validation is going to change your life. Results are what matter, not opinions, not applause, not validation. Most people spend their whole lives trapped in the cycle of trying to impress others, trying to be liked, trying to fit in. And do you know what that leads to? A life of hesitation, a life of wasted time, a life of constantly holding yourself back because you're afraid of judgment. But here's the truth. No matter what you do, someone will always have something to say. If you chase your dreams, they'll say you're being unrealistic. If you play it safe, they'll say you're not ambitious enough. If you win, they'll find reasons to criticize you. If you fail, they'll say, "I told you so." So if you're going to be judged no matter what, why not just do what you want? Why not just focus on getting results and let people say whatever they want? The moment you stop seeking approval, something incredible happens. You start moving differently. You stop hesitating. You stop second-guessing yourself. You stop waiting for permission to go after what you want. And that's when everything changes. Because now, you're not living for them. You're living for you. You're doing what actually matters. Most people don't realize how much energy they waste trying to please others. They tiptoe through life, making decisions based on what will make other people happy, instead of what will move them forward. And then they wonder why they feel stuck. They wonder why they're not making progress. But the answer is simple. You can't chase your dreams and chase approval at the same time. You have to choose. Either you focus on results or you focus on being liked. But you can't do both. Look at the most successful people in the world. They didn't get there by waiting for approval. They didn't get there by worrying about what people thought of them. They got there by focusing on results. They put in the work. They made the sacrifices. They stayed committed, even when no one believed in them, even when they were criticized, even when they were doubted. And now, the same people who once doubted them are the ones clapping for them. That's the irony of life. The people who once criticized you will eventually admire you, if you stay focused long enough to prove them wrong. But that only happens if you stop caring about their opinions and start caring about your results. If you stop trying to impress them and start trying to improve yourself. And that's where most people get stuck. They want success, but they also want to be liked. They want to do great things, but they also want to be accepted. And so they hold themselves back. They play it safe. They shrink themselves to fit into a version that makes everyone else comfortable. And in doing so, they rob themselves of the life they were meant to live. Because here's something you need to understand. People's opinions are temporary, but your results are permanent. The approval you're chasing today won't even matter 5 years from now. The people you're trying so hard to impress won't even remember half of what they said about you. But your results, the life you build, the things you accomplish, that will stay with you forever. So the real question is, what are you going to choose? Are you going to keep living for their approval, or are you going to start living for your own success? Are you going to keep worrying about what they think, or are you going to focus on what you're building? Because at the end of the day, their opinions won't pay your bills. Their validation won't change your life, but your results, your effort, your persistence, that will. And here's the harsh truth. Some people don't want you to succeed. Some people secretly hope you fail, not because they hate you, but because your success reminds them of what they're not doing. Because your progress forces them to look at their own lack of action. And that's why, the moment you start leveling up, you'll notice something. People will start talking. They'll start doubting you. They'll start throwing opinions at you, hoping you'll slow down. And if you're not strong enough, you'll listen. You'll start second-guessing yourself. You'll start shrinking. And before you know it, you'll be right back where you started. Stuck, waiting for approval that will never come. But if you can push past that, if you can learn to ignore the noise, if you can stay focused even when people doubt you, you'll make it. And when you do, you'll realize something powerful. The people who once judged you will respect you. The ones who once laughed at you will ask you how you did it. The same people who once criticized you will wish they had the courage to do what you did. So stop waiting for permission. Stop waiting for validation. Stop waiting for people to clap for you before you even start. Because the truth is, most people won't believe in you until after you've already made it. So don't waste time trying to convince them. Just show them. Let your results speak for themselves. At the end of the day, success belongs to those who focus on the work, not the applause. It belongs to those who move forward, even when no one is watching. It belongs to those who understand that opinions don't build legacies. Results do. And the only way to get results is to stop worrying about approval and start taking action. So whatever you've been holding back on, because you were worried about what people might say. Do it. Stop hesitating. Stop waiting for permission. Start now, because the sooner you stop seeking approval, the sooner you'll start getting results. And in the end, that's the only thing that really matters. Number 8. Work ethic determines your success. There's one thing that separates the successful from the unsuccessful, the winners from the quitters, the dreamers from the doers. It's not luck. It's not talent. It's not intelligence. It's work ethic. The ability to show up every day, to put in the hours, to grind when no one is watching. That's what determines your success. Most people want success, but very few are willing to do what it actually takes. They want the rewards without the effort. They want the results without the discipline. They dream of a better life, but they're not willing to work for it. And that's the difference between those who make it and those who don't. Success doesn't happen because you want it. It happens because you work for it. It happens because you refuse to quit when it gets hard. It happens because you show up even when you don't feel like it. The truth is, talent will only take you so far. Connections will only open so many doors. But work ethic, that's what separates the great from the average. You can take someone with no special skills, no advantages, no handouts, and if they have an unstoppable work ethic, they will outlast and outperform everyone else. Because effort beats talent when talent doesn't work hard. Most people underestimate how much effort it actually takes to succeed. They see someone at the top and assume they got lucky. They assume they had an easy path, but what they don't see are the years of work, the long nights, the sacrifices, the failures, the times they wanted to quit but didn't. That's what success is built on. The ability to push through when others give up, the discipline to keep going when the motivation is gone. And that's what most people don't have. They start strong, but the moment things get difficult, they slow down. The moment they don't see results right away, they start doubting themselves. The moment things take longer than expected, they start looking for shortcuts. But here's the truth. There are no shortcuts. There is no easy way. There's only the work. And if you're not willing to put in the work, you will never have what you want. Look around. The most successful people in the world didn't get there by accident. They got there because they put in more hours than everyone else. They got there because they showed up when no one else did. They got there because they pushed past the excuses, past the self-doubt, past the failures, and they kept working. They worked when they were tired. They worked when they didn't feel like it. They worked when no one believed in them. And that's why they made it. Most people want success to be easy. They want to put in minimal effort and get maximum results. But that's not how life works. If you're not willing to sacrifice for your goals, then your goals will become the sacrifice. If you're not willing to put in the work, someone else will, and they will take the life you could have had. Work ethic is what separates the winners from the losers. It's what determines who rises to the top and who stays stuck at the bottom. You can have all the talent in the world, but if you're not willing to work, it means nothing. Talent without effort is wasted potential. But effort without talent, that can still take you to the top. The problem is, most people don't want to work hard. They want the lifestyle, but they don't want the grind. They want the rewards, but they don't want the discipline. And that's why so many people stay stuck. They make excuses instead of making progress. They wait for the perfect time instead of taking action. They want success to be convenient, but it never is. Success is inconvenient. It requires you to show up when you don't feel like it. It demands that you keep going when everyone else quits. And that's where most people fail. They think they're working hard, but they're really not. They think they're giving it their all, but they're only putting in half the effort. They show up when it's easy, but disappear when it gets tough. And then they wonder why they're not successful. They wonder why things aren't happening for them. But the answer is simple. They're not working hard enough. If you want to succeed, you have to outwork everyone else. You have to be the first one in and the last one out. You have to put in more hours, take more risks, make more sacrifices. You have to be willing to do the things that other people aren't willing to do. And most importantly, you have to keep going even when you don't see results right away. Because that's the hardest part, working when you don't see progress. Showing up every day and putting in the effort, even when it feels like nothing is changing. That's what separates the successful from the unsuccessful. Anyone can work hard when they're motivated. But can you work hard when you're tired? When you're doubting yourself? When you feel like quitting? That's what determines your future. Most people stop when they don't see immediate results. They start something, and if it doesn't work right away, they move on to the next thing. But the people who succeed, they don't quit. They don't look for the easy way out. They keep grinding, keep improving, keep showing up, until one day, they break through. And when they do, the same people who doubted them, the same people who laughed at them, the same people who said they were wasting their time, those people will be the ones asking, how did you do it? They will be the ones wishing they had started when you started. They will be the ones who realize that it wasn't luck, it wasn't talent, it wasn't magic, it was work ethic. So if you're serious about success, stop making excuses. Stop looking for the easy way. Stop waiting for motivation. Get to work. Show up every day. Put in the effort. And keep going, even when it's hard. Because the truth is, your work ethic will determine your future. Your habits will determine your success. And at the end of the day, the only question that matters is this: are you willing to put in the work, or will you be one of the many who give up too soon? Number 9. The best investment you'll ever make is in yourself. The best decision you will ever make, the most valuable investment you will ever commit to, is not in stocks, not in real estate, not in businesses. It's in yourself. Because no matter what happens in the world, no matter what setbacks life throws your way, the one thing you will always have is you. And if you are constantly growing, improving, and sharpening your skills, no challenge will ever be too big. No obstacle will ever be able to hold you back. Most people spend their lives investing in everything except themselves. They invest in cars that lose value the moment they drive off the lot. They invest in clothes to impress people who don't even care. They invest in entertainment, in distractions, in things that give them temporary pleasure, but leave them empty in the long run. And then they wonder why they're stuck, why their life isn't changing, why they keep repeating the same patterns year after year. It's because they never made the most important investment, becoming the person who is capable of achieving everything they desire. Think about it. Everything in your life is a reflection of who you are. Your mindset, your habits, your skills, your discipline. These determine the level of success you reach. If you want to earn more, you have to become more. If you want a better life, you have to become better. Success is not something you chase. It's something you attract by the person you become. That's why investing in yourself is the smartest decision you will ever make. Because when you grow, everything in your life grows with you. Most people think success is about luck or being in the right place at the right time. But the truth is, it's about preparation. It's about becoming so skilled, so knowledgeable, so valuable that opportunities can't ignore you. And that only happens when you dedicate yourself to personal growth. The more you learn, the more you earn. The more you develop yourself, the more doors open for you. That's why the wealthiest, most successful people in the world are obsessed with learning. They never stop improving. They read, they take courses, they surround themselves with people who challenge them to think bigger. They understand that the only true asset in life is who they are. And yet most people spend more time watching TV than they do learning new skills. They spend more money on things that lose value than they do on their own knowledge and growth. They waste years of their life waiting for the perfect opportunity instead of preparing themselves for when opportunity comes. And that's why they stay stuck. Because life doesn't give you what you want. It gives you what you're prepared for. Look at the people who are at the top of their field. The best athletes, the best entrepreneurs, the best artists, the best leaders. They didn't get there by accident. They got there because they committed to becoming the best version of themselves. They trained harder, studied longer, pushed themselves further than anyone else. And that's why they succeeded. Because when everyone else was making excuses, they were making progress. But here's the mistake most people make. They think that investing in themselves only means formal education. They think that once they finish school, their learning is over. But that's the biggest lie society has ever told you. Real education begins when you take control of your own growth. When you read books that challenge your thinking. When you learn skills that actually increase your value. When you take courses, attend seminars, seek mentors, and put yourself in environments that force you to level up. You have to make the decision that no matter what happens in your life, you will never stop improving. You will never stop growing. You will never stop becoming better than you were yesterday. Because the moment you stop growing, you start dying. And the moment you stop investing in yourself, you stop investing in your future. If you want to change your life, start by changing yourself. Develop new skills. Read books that expand your mind. Take care of your health, so you have the energy to perform at your best. Surround yourself with people who inspire you to do more, to be more, to think bigger. Build habits that set you up for success. Work on your confidence, your communication, your mindset, because these are the things that will determine how far you go. Most people look at successful people and think, I wish I could have their life. But what they don't realize is that they can, if they're willing to do what those people did. Success is not reserved for the lucky. It's reserved for those who prepare for it. And preparation starts with investing in yourself. So ask yourself, where do you want to be in 5 years? In 10 years? If you keep doing what you're doing now, will you be closer to your dreams? Or will you still be stuck in the same place? The difference between where you are and where you want to be is found in your daily habits, in how you spend your time, in what you prioritize. If you truly want success, stop spending your time on things that don't serve you. Stop wasting your energy on things that don't build you. Stop waiting for someone to save you, and realize that the only person who can change your life is you. The best investment you will ever make is in becoming the person who is capable of achieving everything you desire. Because once you do that, success is no longer a possibility. It's inevitable. Number 10. Regret lasts forever. So do what needs to be done now. There is nothing heavier than regret. Nothing. It lingers. It stays with you. It follows you like a shadow creeping into your mind when you least expect it. It doesn't go away with time. It doesn't fade like old memories. It stays sharp, clear, and painful. The worst part? You can't change it. You can't go back and fix the chances you didn't take, the work you didn't do, the risks you were too afraid to pursue. That's why you must do what needs to be done now. Because once time is gone, it's gone forever. Most people don't realize this until it's too late. They tell themselves they'll start tomorrow. They'll take action when they feel ready. They'll chase their dreams when the timing is better. But tomorrow turns into next week. Next week turns into next year. And before they know it, they've wasted years doing nothing. Then one day, they wake up and realize they're out of time. They look back and see all the moments they let slip away, all the dreams they abandoned, all the potential they never fulfilled. And that pain is unbearable. You have two choices in life: temporary discomfort or permanent regret. That's it. The pain of discipline, of hard work, of pushing yourself when you don't feel like it. That pain is temporary. But the pain of regret, that stays with you for the rest of your life. You can recover from failure, but you can't recover from never trying. You can rebuild after setbacks, but you can't go back and reclaim wasted time. And that's what makes regret so dangerous. It's permanent. If you knew you only had 6 months to live, how differently would you act? Would you keep making excuses? Would you keep putting things off? No, you wouldn't. You'd move fast. You'd take risks. You'd finally do all the things you've been avoiding, because you'd realize that time is the most valuable thing you have. But here's the truth. You don't need a countdown to start living that way. Every day that passes is a day you'll never get back. Every opportunity you ignore is an opportunity lost forever. You have to wake up now. You have to stop assuming you have unlimited time, because you don't think about the people who are truly successful, the ones who achieve greatness. They aren't the ones who wait for the perfect moment. They aren't the ones who make excuses. They are the ones who act, who push forward, who take massive action even when they're scared, even when they don't feel ready. They understand that hesitation kills dreams, waiting destroys potential, and comfort is the enemy of progress. So ask yourself, what is stopping you? What excuse have you been telling yourself? That you're too busy, that you're not ready, that you'll start when life calms down. Those are lies. The truth is, the only thing stopping you is you. The fear, the self-doubt, the hesitation, it's all in your mind. And the only way to beat it is to take action. Because once you do, the fear disappears. The doubt fades. The hesitation turns into momentum. You don't have to have everything figured out. You don't have to be perfect. You just have to start. You just have to take the first step. Success doesn't come from waiting, from planning, from thinking about what you should do. It comes from doing, from showing up, from putting in the work, even when you don't feel like it. That's how you build confidence. That's how you build discipline. And that's how you build a life with no regrets. There will never be a perfect time. You will never feel 100% ready. Life will always be messy, unpredictable, and full of distractions. But if you let that stop you, if you keep waiting for things to be easy, you'll never move forward. You'll wake up one day filled with regret, wishing you had started sooner, wishing you had taken that chance, wishing you had done what needed to be done when you had the chance. And when that moment comes, there's nothing you can do about it. You can't rewind time. You can't get those years back. All you can do is live with the pain of knowing you wasted your potential. So don't let that happen. Don't let another day slip by without making progress. Don't let another opportunity pass you by. Start now. Push yourself now. Do what needs to be done now. Because the pain of discipline is temporary, but the pain of regret lasts forever. The only limit to your impact is your imagination and commitment. Now you know the truth. Success isn't some mystery. It's not reserved for a chosen few. It's built on the small things you do every single day. Your energy, your focus, your mindset, your work ethic. These are the things that shape your future. And the best part, you have control over all of them. The difference between those who succeed and those who don't isn't talent or luck. It's the choices they make, the decision to show up, to keep going, to invest in themselves, to take action even when it's hard. The people who win in life are the ones who refuse to quit, the ones who stop waiting for the perfect time and start making things happen. So ask yourself, what are you going to do with this knowledge? Will you let it fade away like just another motivational speech? Or will you use it? Will you take action? Because the truth is, no one can do it for you. No one can make the decision for you. It's your life, your future. And the time to start is right now.